My first life ended the day I turned 25. It wasn't a death of the body, but of the soul. I had spent my years believing in a simple truth that my parents, Richard and Linda Chen, loved me. They were restaurateurs, pillars of the community, and I thought my biggest supporters. My rival wasn't a person, but a ghost. The ghost of the perfect daughter they always wanted, the one who would follow in their footsteps without question. My death was a quiet one, a slow poisoning of hope. It happened in the sterile silence of our family kitchen, a place that was once my sanctuary. As I listened to the muffled laughter of a party I wasn't invited to, a party paid for with the last remnants of my future. The smell of lobster thermidor, rich and buttery, slithers under the kitchen door. It's a scent I know well, one I perfected in my first-year culinary practicals. But this isn't my cooking. It's catered. And it's for them. For the strangers in my dining room, their laughter a dull roar against the blood pounding in my ears. I'm sitting at the small steel prep table, a box of Cheerios in front of me, the milk turning the little O's to mush. It's my 25th birthday, and my parents have forgotten. Again. This isn't the first time. Birthdays, holidays, graduation, they've all been casualties of my parents' ambition. But this feels different. This feels final. The faint floral scent of my mother's perfume, a custom blend she calls success, wafts in, a ghostly finger tracing the line of my jaw. It's the same scent she wore when she told me my grandmother's inheritance, the money meant for my culinary school tuition in Paris, was better off invested in the family business. I was naive then. I believed her. My phone buzzes on the table, a text from Sophie, my best friend. Happy birthday, superstar. Can't wait to celebrate with you tonight. Did you tell them? I stare at the screen, the words blurring. Tell them? Tell them that the acceptance letter to Le Cordon Bleu is sitting in my desk drawer, a crisp, white ghost of a life I'm starting to realize I'll never have? My hands are shaking. Not with anger, not yet. This is a deeper tremor, a seismic shift in the foundations of my world. I push the cereal box aside and walk to the kitchen door, my bare feet cold on the tiled floor. I press my ear to the wood, the vibrations of their voices a venomous hum. And of course, my father's voice, smooth and practiced, booms through the door. We couldn't have done it without the overwhelming generosity of our family. The Chen Family Foundation is proud to announce our first major initiative, a feast for 500 of our city's homeless families. The words hit me like a physical blow. The Chen Family Foundation, my trust fund, my grandmother's legacy. A cold, hard knot forms in my stomach. They didn't just invest my money, they liquidated it. They stole it. I stumble back from the door, my breath catching in my throat. My gaze falls on the sleek, silver laptop sitting on the counter, a birthday gift from myself. A consolation prize for a dream I was already letting die, but now something new is taking its place. A cold, sharp clarity. I open the laptop, my fingers flying across the keyboard. The mayor's voice drones on from the other room. Something about the feast being held tomorrow? About the funds being transferred permanently in the morning. I have 18 hours. 18 hours before my future is served up on a silver platter to a crowd of strangers. A carefully orchestrated act of public generosity built on a private lie. My search history fills with phrases I never thought I'd type. Food poisoning lawsuits, botulism symptoms, liability for catered events. A small, predatory smile touches my lips. They want to feed the town? Fine, but I'll be the one writing the menu, and it's going to be a meal they'll never forget. The clock is ticking. 18 hours. Let the games begin. I'm continuing with the next section. First decisive action. The first call is to the city's health department. My voice is calm, measured, the voice of a concerned citizen. I was at a private event at 14 Willow Creek Drive. I say, my parents' address rolling off my tongue like a foreign country. The shellfish, it smelled off. Several people were complaining of nausea. I give them the caterer's name, a little gift to a competitor I know my parents despise. The woman on the other end of the line is all business, her voice a clipped, efficient promise of an investigation. One down. I hang up and take a deep, steadying breath. The house is quiet now, the partygoers gone. leaving behind the ghost of their laughter and the cloying scent of my mother's perfume. I can hear my parents in their study, their voices low and conspiratorial. They are flush with their success, their public image polished to a high shine. They have no idea the storm that's about to break. The family restaurant, the Golden Walk, is a two-story building in the heart of downtown. The ground floor is the main dining area, a cavern of red and gold, always bustling with customers. The upstairs is our private apartment, a place I once called home. But the heart of the restaurant, my heart, has always been the kitchen. A sprawling, stainless steel temple of heat and steam, and the glorious, chaotic symphony of a busy service, and I have the keys, all of them. I slip out the back door, the cool night air a balm on my feverish skin. The drive to the restaurant is a blur. I park in the back alley, the familiar scent of sesame oil and ginger, a comforting embrace. I let myself in through the delivery entrance, the click of the lock echoing in the cavernous space. The kitchen is dark, the steel counters gleaming like sleeping giants under the moonlight. I walk through it, my hand trailing along the cool metal. This is my kingdom, and tonight I'm claiming my throne. I lock the door behind me, the deadbolt a satisfying thud. Then I go to the front entrance and do the same. I lock the service entrance, the employee entrance, every possible way in or out. I am a fortress, and the siege is about to begin. It doesn't take long. My father's pounding on the kitchen door an hour later is predictable. Maya, what is the meaning of this? Open this door immediately. His voice is a low growl, the one he uses when his authority is challenged. I press my back against the steel door, a silent barrier between his world and mine. I don't think so, I say, my voice surprisingly steady. This is not a game, Maya. You are not the daughter we raised. I laugh, a hollow, bitter sound. You're right. The daughter you raised is gone. You saw to that. His sputtering rage is a sweet, sweet symphony. I can picture him, his face flushed, his perfectly tailored suit rumpled. My mother will be standing behind him, her arms crossed, her face a mask of cold disapproval. Let them rage. They are powerless out there. In here, I am queen. I turn my back on the door and walk to the small office tucked away in the corner of the kitchen. It's where my father does the books, where the real business of the restaurant happens. I've never been allowed in here. It's his private sanctum. But I have the key to this door, too. The office is small, cluttered with papers and files. A thick, leather-bound ledger sits on the desk. It's the restaurant's Bible, a detailed record of every transaction, every sale, every tip. I open it, my fingers tracing the neat columns of numbers. And then I see it. A separate set of books tucked away in a folder labeled Miscellaneous. This is the real ledger, the one that doesn't get shown to the taxman. And the numbers tell a story of greed and deception that takes my breath away. For months, for years, my parents have been skimming from the employees' tip pool. Not just a little here and there. Thousands, tens of thousands of dollars siphoned off to fund their lavish lifestyle, their charity galas, their desperate, pathetic climb up the social ladder. The names in the ledger are a litany of ghosts from my childhood. Maria, the dishwasher, who always slipped me a piece of candy. David, the line cook who taught me how to properly julienne a carrot. All of them, their hard-earned money stolen by the people they trusted. A new kind of anger, cold and sharp, cuts through me. This isn't just about me anymore. This is about them. About the people my parents have exploited. The lives they've trampled on in their pursuit of more. From the small window above the desk, I can see the street below. A sleek black car pulls up to the curb. A man in a crisp white uniform gets out. The health inspector. He's early. A slow, triumphant smile spreads across my face. The first domino has fallen. I have until dawn, and I'm just getting started. Here is the next section. Countermove and reveal #2. The city's food bank warehouse is a cavernous, cold building on the industrial outskirts of town. It smells of dust and damp cardboard, a stark contrast to the cloying sweetness of my mother's perfume. I stand in the shadows, watching as volunteers sort through boxes of donated canned goods, their movements a slow, weary dance. This is where the food for my parents' sham feast is being stored. And this is where I'll find my next target. Mayor Davidson is a man who thrives in the spotlight. He's all smiles and handshakes in front of the cameras, a paragon of civic duty. But I've seen the way he looks at my father, a flicker of something calculating in his eyes. They're partners in this, I'm sure of it, and I'm here to prove it. I wait until he's alone in a small, glass-walled office overlooking the warehouse floor. I walk in without knocking, a file folder clutched in my hand. He looks up, his face a mask of surprise that quickly morphs into annoyance. Maya, what a surprise. I'm sure it is, I say, my voice as cold as the air in the warehouse. I have some questions about the Chen Family Foundation. He leans back in his chair, his fingers steepled under his chin. I'm not sure I see what that has to do with you. It has everything to do with me, I say, my voice low and dangerous. Since it's my money you're playing with. I open the folder and slide a piece of paper across the desk. It's a copy of my grandmother's will, the clause about my trust fund highlighted in yellow. He glances at it, a flicker of something unreadable in his eyes. This is a family matter, Maya. I'm sure you and your parents can sort it out. We're past that, I say. I'm more interested in the city's involvement, specifically yours. I slide another paper across the desk. It's a list of the food bank's recent acquisitions, cross-referenced with the inventory of some of the most high-end restaurants in the city. The same restaurants my parents frequent. The same restaurants the mayor has been seen dining at, his meals always comped. Funny how so much of the donated food seems to be ending up on the menus of places that charge $200 for a steak. The mayor's face pales. The silence in the small office is deafening, broken only by the distant clatter of cans from the warehouse floor. He knows he's caught. He's been skimming from the donations, selling off the best of the food to his cronies in the restaurant business. My parents' charity is just a front, a way to launder the stolen goods. The door to the office bursts open and my parents rush in, their faces a thunderous mask of rage. They have security guards with them, two beefy men in ill-fitting suits. Maya, this has gone far enough, my father bellows, his voice echoing in the small space. Give me the keys to the restaurant and stop this childish tantrum. I turn to face them, a slow, cold smile on my face. Childish? I'm feeding this town properly for once. What you're doing is criminal. You're destroying our reputation, my mother shrieks, her voice a shrill, panicked cry. Good, I say, my voice laced with ice. It was built on lies. We gave you everything, my father roars, his face turning a blotchy red. You gave me scraps, I retort, my voice rising to match his. You gave me leftovers while you feasted on my future. You stole from me. You stole from your employees, and now I find out you're stealing from the hungry. You are monsters. The word hangs in the air, a shimmering, ugly thing. The security guards shift uncomfortably, their eyes darting between me and my parents. The mayor is silent, his face a pasty white. He knows the game is up. He knows I have him. My mother takes a step towards me, her face contorted in a grotesque mask of fury and desperation. You will not do this to us, Maya. We are your family. I look at her, at the woman who was once the center of my world. I see nothing of the mother I loved. Only a stranger. A woman consumed by a hunger so vast it has devoured everything in its path. You stopped being my family the day you decided your reputation was more important than your daughter. I turn and walk out of the office, leaving them in the ruins of their own making. The cold warehouse air bites at my skin, a sharp, clean sting. The silence that follows me is more damning than any accusation. It's the sound of their world crumbling. And I'm the one holding the hammer. Here is the next section, midpoint reversal. The drive back to the restaurant is a blur of streetlights and adrenaline. The confrontation at the food bank was just the beginning. I knew my parents were corrupt, but the depth of their depravity is a dark, bottomless pit I'm only now beginning to fathom. I need more evidence, more proof. I need to burn their empire to the ground, salt the earth, and dance in the ashes. The restaurant is my sanctuary, my fortress. I lock myself back in the kitchen, the familiar scent of spices and yeast, a comforting balm to my frayed nerves. I make myself a pot of strong black coffee, the bitter taste a welcome shock to my system. I have a few hours until dawn, a few hours before the bank transfer for the fraudulent foundation goes through. a few hours to find the smoking gun. I go back to my father's office, to the leather-bound ledger and the secret set of books. I was so focused on the stolen tips before, I didn't dig deeper. But now, with the knowledge of the mayor's involvement, I see a pattern I missed before. A series of large, unexplained payments to shell corporations with vaguely benevolent-sounding names. The Orphans Relief Fund, the Widows' Hope Society. All of them leading back to a single offshore account. It's a Ponzi scheme, a sick, twisted version of it. My parents aren't just stealing from the tip pool and the food bank. They're soliciting donations from wealthy investors for their fake charities, promising huge returns on their philanthropic investments. The gala, the feast for the homeless, it's all a front, a way to lure in new investors to create a veneer of legitimacy. Tomorrow's feast is the final act, the grand finale. It's the payout, the big one, the one that will allow them to cash out, to disappear with millions of dollars of other people's money, leaving a trail of financial ruin in their wake. My blood runs cold. This is bigger than I ever imagined. This is federal. This is prison time. A lot of it. A small, hysterical laugh escapes my lips. I came here for revenge. For a stolen birthday. A stolen dream. But I've stumbled into something so much bigger, so much more monstrous. My mind races, the pieces of the puzzle clicking into place with a sickening finality. The offshore account, the shell corporations, the fake charities, the stolen tips, the food bank scam. It's all connected. A tangled web of lies and deceit with my parents at the center. A pair of fat, contented spiders growing rich on the blood of their victims. And I'm the only one who can stop them. The knowledge is a heavy weight, a terrifying responsibility. But it's also a source of strength. A cold, hard resolve solidifies in my gut. I will not let them get away with this. I will not let them destroy any more lives. I spend the next few hours in a frenzy of activity. I photograph every page of the secret ledger, every incriminating document. I create a detailed timeline of the fraudulent transactions, a roadmap of their crimes. I email the entire package to Sophie with a cryptic message. If you don't hear from me by dawn, send this to the FBI. Then I start cooking. It's an act of defiance, an act of rebellion, an act of love. I'm not just cooking for myself. I'm cooking for the people my parents have exploited, for the employees whose tips they stole, for the homeless families they used as props in their sick, twisted game. I make my grandmother's recipes, the ones she taught me in this very kitchen, the ones that smell of home, of love, of a life I thought was lost to me forever. I make rich, fragrant broths. I knead dough until my arms ache. I chop vegetables with a speed and precision that would make my old culinary instructors proud. The kitchen comes alive around me, a symphony of sizzling pans and bubbling pots. The air fills with the warm, comforting scents of garlic and ginger, of roasting meat and baking bread. It's a stark contrast to the cold, sterile smell of my parents' ambition. This is real. This is honest. This is everything they are not. As the first rays of dawn streak the sky, I pack up the food, dozens of containers filled with hot, nourishing meals. I load them into the restaurant's delivery van, my movements a blur of purpose and determination. In 12 hours, my parents will be in federal custody, and I will own the most successful restaurant empire in 3 counties. Not because of their money, not because of their name, but because of this. Because of the food. Because of the truth. I don't hesitate. I don't look back. I drive out into the sleeping city, a one-woman army on a mission of culinary justice. The feast is on. And this time, it's for real. I'm now writing the 5th section, Second Strike and Reveal #3. The restaurant's outdoor patio is my stage. I set up a long folding table, a makeshift buffet line. I arrange the containers of food, the steam rising in the cool morning air like a fragrant offering. I have a portable speaker, and I'm playing a playlist of my grandmother's favorite opera arias, the soaring notes a stark contrast to the grimy alleyway. But the centerpiece of my performance is the projector, a high-powered one I rented yesterday, a last-minute addition to my battle plan. I have it aimed at the blank brick wall of the building across the street, a giant empty canvas. And on that canvas, I project the images from my father's secret ledger. The fraudulent transactions, the offshore account numbers, the names of the shell corporations, all of it in stark black and white for the whole world to see. I start a live stream on my phone, propped up on a stack of napkins. The title is simple: The Chen Family's Secret Recipe. I don't say a word. I just let the camera pan over the food, the music, the damning evidence projected on the wall. It doesn't take long for a crowd to gather. First, it's just a few curious passersby, drawn in by the music and the smell of the food. Then, as people start to recognize the names on the wall, the murmurs begin. The crowd grows, a mix of shocked and angry faces. They're seeing the truth. The ugly, unvarnished truth about the couple they thought were pillars of their community. My parents arrive in a screech of tires, their faces a mask of apoplectic rage. My mother stumbles out of the car, her hair a mess, her expensive silk blouse wrinkled. "Turn that off!" she screams, her voice a raw, desperate shriek. "Turn that off right now!" I look at her, a cool, detached calm settling over me. "The whole town can see, Mom," I say, my voice carrying over the music. "There's nowhere to hide." "We're your parents," my father bellows, his face a blotchy, furious red. He takes a step towards me, his hands clenched into fists. "Parents remember birthdays," I say, my voice cutting through his anger like a shard of glass. He stops, his face slack with shock. It's a low blow, I know, but it's the truth, and the truth is the only weapon I have left. My mother is sobbing now, her body shaking with a mixture of rage and self-pity. "How could you do this to us, after everything we've given you?" "You gave me nothing," I say, my voice cold and hard. You took. You took from me, you took from your employees, you took from this town. And now, it's time to give it all back." As if on cue, two black cars pull up to the curb, their sirens a low, ominous wail. Men in dark suits and sunglasses emerge, their movements crisp and efficient. The FBI has arrived. Sophie, my loyal, wonderful Sophie, came through. One of the agents, a tall, grim-faced woman, walks towards me. She glances at the projection on the wall, then back at me. "Maya Chen?" I nod. That's me. She looks at my parents, her gaze cold and assessing. "Richard and Linda Chen, you're under arrest for fraud, embezzlement, and money laundering." My parents stare at her, their faces a mixture of disbelief and terror. The crowd is silent, their faces a sea of shocked and angry expressions. The opera music soars, a dramatic, tragic soundtrack to the downfall of the House of Chen. The agent turns back to me. "We'll need you to come with us. We have a few questions." I nod again. I look at the projected image on the wall, at the final damning piece of evidence I've saved for last. It's a copy of the deed to my childhood home, sold last week to an anonymous buyer. They were planning to run, to flee the country after tomorrow's feast, leaving a trail of devastation in their wake. The sun is setting, casting long, dramatic shadows across the street. News vans are starting to arrive, their satellite dishes sprouting like metallic weeds. On the screen of my phone, the live stream has thousands of viewers. My countdown timer, the one I set for the bank transfer, shows 3 hours remaining. Plenty of time for the feds to freeze the accounts. Plenty of time for the whole world to watch as the Chen dynasty crumbles into dust. Here is the 6th section, Climax Confrontation. The courthouse steps are a chaotic swirl of news vans, reporters, and curious onlookers. The air is thick with the scent of exhaust fumes and the low hum of a city hungry for a spectacle. And I'm giving them one. I've set up my feast here on the very steps of justice. The food is a vibrant splash of color against the cold, gray stone of the courthouse. The aroma of my grandmother's recipes, of home and honesty, cuts through the city smog, a defiant act of culinary rebellion. I'm serving the people my parents pretended to care about. The homeless families, the ones who were supposed to be the props in their philanthropic play. They are my guests of honor. I serve them myself, ladling rich, fragrant stew into their bowls, their faces a mixture of gratitude and surprise. This is real. This is what a feast should be. My parents are brought out of the courthouse in handcuffs, their faces a pale, doughy mask of shock and humiliation. The reporters surge forward, a cacophony of shouting questions and flashing cameras. My parents blink in the harsh glare of the media spotlight, their carefully constructed world reduced to this, a perp walk of shame. My father sees me. His eyes, once so full of authority and condescension, are now narrowed slits of pure, unadulterated hatred. He lunges towards me, a guttural roar tearing from his throat. The federal agents restrain him, but his words, sharp and venomous, find their mark. "You've destroyed us," he snarls, his voice a low, vicious growl. "We built this empire for you." I look at him, at the man who was once my hero, my god. I feel nothing but a cold, empty pity. "You built it on stolen dreams," I say, my voice clear and steady, carrying over the din of the crowd. My mother, her face tear-streaked and blotchy, joins in, her voice a shrill, desperate wail. "No jury will convict loving parents." I laugh, a short, bitter sound. "They will when they see the books." My father's face contorts in a mask of fury. "You're nothing without us. You'll be begging on the streets within a year." "Watch me become everything in spite of you," I say, my voice ringing with a newfound strength, a confidence I never knew I possessed. I turn to the grim-faced FBI agent, the one who arrested my parents. I hand her the leather-bound ledger, the real one, the one that tells the true story of the Chen family's reign of terror. "Here," I say. "Everything you need is in here." She takes it from me, her eyes meeting mine with a look of grudging respect. My parents' shocked faces are broadcast on every news channel in the country as the agent opens the ledger, the damning evidence of their crimes laid bare for all to see. The handcuffs click shut with a final, satisfying finality. As they are led away, their faces a mixture of disbelief and despair, I turn back to the crowd. I take a deep breath and speak into the nearest microphone, my voice clear and strong. "The Chen Family Foundation was a lie," I say, my words echoing across the plaza. "But my foundation, the one I'm starting today, will be real. We will feed the hungry. We will help the helpless. We will build a new legacy, one based on truth, on compassion, on good food." I look out at the faces in the crowd, at the people I am feeding. I see hope. I see gratitude. I see the seeds of a new beginning. My parents' empire is in ashes, but from those ashes, something new, something better, is already beginning to grow, the culinary empire I always dreamed of. And this time, I'm building it on my own terms. Here is the final section of your story, stinger and brief epilogue. "Happy birthday to me," I whisper to the empty street, the last of the news vans having finally packed up and gone. The courthouse steps are quiet now, the only sounds the gentle clatter of my own cleanup and the contented sighs of the last homeless family finishing their meal. I've given them all takeaway containers, enough food for a few more days. It's not much, but it's a start, a promise. I watch as the father helps his two small children into their worn-out coats, his eyes meeting mine with a look of such profound gratitude it takes my breath away. He doesn't say a word. He doesn't have to. The look is enough. It's more than enough. 6 months later, the name Chen is no longer synonymous with scandal and deceit. It's on the sign of 5 new restaurants, scattered across 3 states. Maya's Kitchen. Each one is small, intimate, with an open kitchen and a menu that changes daily, based on whatever is fresh and in season. Each one is staffed by people who were once homeless, once exploited, once invisible. I've trained them myself, taught them my grandmother's recipes, given them a second chance, a new family. My family. The money came from the government, from the seized assets of my parents' criminal enterprise. A multi-million-dollar reward for my role in bringing them to justice. It's a bitter irony, one that I'm still learning to live with, but I'm using it to build something good, something real. Something that would have made my grandmother proud. I'm sitting at the head of a long, empty dining table in my new apartment, a spacious loft overlooking the city. It's the same table from my parents' house, the one they entertained their rich, clueless friends at. I bought it at the auction of their seized assets, a small, private act of defiance. It's a reminder, a warning. The table is set for 3, 1 plate for me, 2 empty plates for the ghosts of the parents I once loved. The ones who forgot my birthday, who stole my future, who broke my heart. I raise my glass of wine, a toast to the empty chairs, to the lessons I've learned, to the woman I've become. Some plates are better left unfilled. Some voids are better left empty. Blood doesn't make a family. Love does. And sometimes the greatest act of love is feeding a stranger, a person who has nothing to give you in return but a look of gratitude, a silent promise of a better tomorrow. That's the foundation of my new empire, and it's a foundation that will never crumble.